Edson Alvarez to Fenerbahçe on loan for the season is done. The player is heading to Turkey today ahead of his medicals, and it looked done a couple of days ago. Fabrizio Romano, and this is his exclusive. He's been the one all over this transfer in regards to news and updates, and he's leading it again today. His exclusive today is that Alvarez is travelling to Turkey. But a couple of days ago, he said everything was done, everything was agreed between West Ham and Fenerbahçe. All that was needed was Alvarez to say okay and to travel. But it feels like there was a couple of days delay on Alvarez's side of things. A little bit of hesitation maybe, because I think once it came out that Fenerbahçe had agreed terms with West Ham, a couple of other clubs put offers in as well that weren't as attractive to West Ham as what Fenerbahçe's bid was. There was Inter Milan, Porto, Dortmund were all rumoured. Ajax, Johnny Heitinga there now, obviously was coach of Alvarez under David Moyes. He's now the Ajax boss. He was speaking about how he'd like Alvarez at Ajax too. So I'd imagine there would have been a couple of other offers and maybe a couple of clubs that might have appealed more. Maybe returning to Ajax is something that appealed to Alvarez. But Fenerbahçe was the only one that got a deal done with West Ham, paying 100% of his wages, a loan fee. There's an option to buy in there, which is supposedly 22 million euros. So obviously 19 million pounds to you and I. And if the loan fees, let's just say 3 million. Let's just go with that. It might be a little bit higher, a little bit less. I don't think I'll be too far away with that guess. Let's just say it is 3 million, so it's worth 22 million overall as a transfer fee to West Ham should that move become permanent next summer. So anyway, Alvarez to Fenerbahçe. It's all done now. Now, I will address something that a subscriber said to me the other day when I did the video about Alvarez. I said, oh, it's funny now. West Ham fans were wanting Alvarez sold at the end of the season. Now they're disappointed to see him leaving. And I don't know if he was just speaking in general or about myself, because I certainly was happy to see Alvarez sold at the end of last season. But I'm unhappy with the loan. And it's fair. The subscriber's comment was more than fair. And I'm just going to reply here because it's relevant. I was okay selling Alvarez because I thought we could use the funds to then improve the squad, to bring in new midfield. I was so, especially at the end of last season, emotionally I was maybe, actually no, I probably am back up there now in terms of the midfield frustrating me and concerning me emotionally. Obviously in June I was pretty calm because I thought, oh, I got the whole transfer window. Surely we're going to address that problem. Turns out, not yet. But at the end of the season, I was done with our midfield. All of them. I was done with our entire midfield. I just wanted to see a complete rebuild. I was happy for any of them to be sold. Then coming off the back of that and calming down a little bit and looking at it in more detail, I was still happy for us to sell Alvarez because I believed that he would yield a good transfer fee. I don't think that's the case here. I think 22 million in total, if they buy him next summer, and it's if at the moment, I think that's low. I think we should have got more than that for him personally. But I thought we could have used that money to reinvest, bring in players that are more suited to Graham Potter / West Ham / the Premier League and improve our midfield. I just wanted to see a complete midfield rebuild, and I still do. I still have that desire. The issue is loaning him out gives us 2-3 million quid at the moment. What are we going to do with that? You can't replace Edson Alvarez with 2-3 million. I appreciate it may, well, it will free up his wages, which let's just go top end of 100 grand a week. I'm not sure they're that much, but let's just say they were. Granted, that gives you the wages for someone to come in and replace him. But there's no transfer fee there. We don't know if Fenerbahçe are going to buy him. It's not an obligation to buy. It's an option. Now, there may be clauses in there, which means that after, say, 20 starts for Fenerbahçe, it turns into an obligation. Those details have yet to come out. But that's why I was pro selling Alvarez, but not so pro loaning him out. And it's because of the financial gains for the club. Well, there's 19 million difference. It's a lot of money. And then also, the situation has changed drastically. Back then, at the end of the season, we had the entire transfer window ahead of us. Now, we've got 11 days. So we've gone from selling him with 2-3 months of the window ahead to loaning him out with 11 days ahead. Completely different set of circumstances. But hopefully that answers the query from the subscriber and anyone else that may have been thinking, hang on a minute, Joe, you've changed your tune. You were for selling him, but now you're against getting rid of him, but loaning him out. I think it's two different things. Loaning and selling are not the same. I think it's two separate conversations entirely. But puts a bit of pressure on West Ham now. I think it really puts pressure on us. because we got told, we'll get one. If someone leaves, we'll get two. This club better not turn around. I'm telling you now, I think my head will be spinning. My head will be on Mars if I see something get leaked by one of the in-the-know / journalists / people that email David Sullivan. If one of those put up something that we signed one midfielder, and then they put up something going, oh yeah, we only signed one because we didn't sell Alvarez, we only loaned him out, and the club said if we sell another midfielder, we'll bring another one in. Sorry, that won't wash with me. If we've loaned Alvarez out, he has to be treated like we've sold him. It has to be. Like I said, financially, I understand there's a significant difference. We've established that. But what you can't do is loan someone like that out and go, oh yeah, but we can't replace him. We don't have the transfer fee. That, my head will explode. I now expect 2 good midfielders coming into this club. 2 of them. We already needed at least one. I think we needed 2 anyway. But the club were leaking 2-3 weeks ago now. It will be easy to find. Yeah, we're going to get 1 midfielder. 2 if someone goes. Well, as far as I'm concerned, someone's gone. Someone's gone now. So you better make sure we get the reinforcements in. Now, speaking about which players might be coming in, that's worrying me as well for a completely different reason. Before we get into it, we've got a bit of an offer for you ahead of the Chelsea game. Don't worry, we've not done West Ham to win. We've not done Chelsea to win either, right? So it's 18-1. 4 things to happen in the game. At least 2 goals in the match. I've seen a lot of you expecting goals in this game, right? So that should be ticking your box. Cole Palmer to have at least 2 shots on target in the match. Feels realistic. Shoots on sight. Doesn't mind hitting it from distance, does he, Palmer? Might get a bit of space in our midfield. Jared Bowen to have 1 shot on target, at least. And also Max Kilman to get a booking. Now, I've put this bet together. This isn't Boyle Sports. They haven't put it together and said, hey, Gio, promote this. They've said, Gio, what do you fancy for Friday? Let us know. I've done that. And they said, right, we're going to boost your odds. So they've boosted it to 18-1. The reason I've gone for Max Kilman's card is I think he's rash. We've seen it against Sunderland last week. He got booked against Sunderland last week. But I think he'll start against Pedro. I think Pedro will drop deep to get involved in the play. I think Kilman will follow him. I think when Kilman does that, when Kilman steps out of defence, I think he can be quite erratic and quite rash. Doesn't mind committing fouls either. Also, I don't think he's the quickest. I think he's got done a few times. He got done against Sunderland, done against Man U in pre-season for his lack of pace. So I think he might be in for a difficult evening tomorrow night at the London Stadium. So that's my bet. I put it together 18-1. So if you fancy a little bit of that, you can get it at Boyle Sports. Now, the link to join Boyle Sports, if you haven't done so already, is in the description below. But if you go via that link, you will get up to £40 of free bets as well. Now, you do need to deposit a tenner and you need to play a tenner as well. And your first qualifying bet needs to come to a conclusion before you get the free bets. All the terms and conditions are in the description below, so please do read them before you sign up. Obviously, it's a gambling app, so please do gamble responsibly, plus 18 years and over. But hopefully, fingers crossed, I've picked a winning bet. All details are in the description below, so scroll under there. Make sure you use that link. So if you go to Boyle Sports organically, you do not get up to £40 free bets. You only get up to £25 free bets, so you get a little bit more. Everything's in the description below. Have a look. In terms of the players coming in, I'm not even going to go through it. I was going to do a transfer rumour show today because we're being linked to a lot of midfielders, and I couldn't be arsed. I could not be bothered because of all the names we're being linked to. It came out yesterday that our improved offer for Fernandes was £2 million. You know, I've sort of given the club the benefit of the doubt with the first bid, which was worth 30 million. I thought that's not insulting. That's a very respectable offer for Fernandes. They've rejected it. Not the end of the world, right? We're quite far apart in valuation. Fine. We've gone in with the second one. I would assume we've gone a bit closer to their valuation, which we have. We've gone £2 million closer, but still nowhere near what they're wanting. Now, they're saying they want 50 million. Do I think it'll take that? No, I think it'll be 40. Now, if this was the start of June, I'd understand it. We're playing the long game. We're being patient. We're trying to get them down in the transfer fee. But it's not. There's 11 days left the window. We don't really have time. Time isn't on our side here. I still think if we want to sign him a lot, we can make this happen. It will be close to 40 million, if not maybe even a little bit more. Do I think he's worth that? No, I think it's getting chunky already. 32 million was our offer now. I think that's already fair, more than fair for Fernandes. Once it starts touching that 40 million, we're into sort of Kilman Ward-Prowse territory where I feel like we're starting to overpay. The difference is Fernandes is young. with KILMAN and Ward-Prowse, they weren't that younger side of things. I think he's a great player. The price is just getting a little bit for me. I think there's maybe better value out there. Now, we've been linked to loads, but I hope you voted. Sean put up a thing on Twitter. Which 3 players would you sign if you could for West Ham? And there was a list of midfielders to choose from. So I hope you all voted. That is possibly West Ham's scouting department. That's how we do our research. Put it on Twitter. See what the fans want. Who did the fans want? Let's have a look. Not many people said Josh Brownhill, which is reassuring. So I hope you all participated in West Ham's latest scouting side of things going on. But here's my biggest concern. It's very scattergun at the moment. The names we're being linked to, they're all different types of profiles. I appreciate we may bring in 2, so it makes sense that we're being linked to different types of players. But it feels like what we're doing now is something you should have done in June. This testing the waters. Now, I feel like that phrase wasn't that bad. I think that's a normal thing to do. When you begin negotiating with clubs and stuff, you do put feelers out there. You try and gauge what sort of price they're wanting before you make a formal bid. You do the legwork before you put in a formal bid. So the whole testing the waters doesn't actually bother me. What bothers me is doing it now with 11 days to go. Well, 12 days to go the window yesterday. That's my concern. We shouldn't be doing that now. It's too late. We should know who our target. It feels like we're just trying to work out who we actually want to sign and how much everyone's worth and if the clubs are willing to sell them. It feels like we're just starting the transfer window. That's my concern, because these things take time. Gauging stuff. It takes time. You don't just ring them up and go, "Oi, mate, how much do you want for that player? Are you willing to sell him? Oh, you ring the agent, see if the player wants to come." That stuff doesn't happen like that. You need time. We don't have time. There's 11 days. We are running out of it, and we're running out of it quick. So I'm a bit concerned, and I appreciate it's just transfer rumours, so it may not be true. However, I don't think it's wild to suggest it feels really believable, in the sense that we've maybe got a list of 10, 15 names and we're trying to work out which ones we can afford and which ones are interested in coming to West Ham. And this is my concern. Now, I'm confident we will sign at least one more player. I'm very confident we will. Whether we're happy with him or we pay a good fee for him, that's a different conversation. But my biggest concern right now isn't, well, it's that we don't know who we want. But there's another one, and that is I feel like we need more. So while I'm confident we'll sign at least one midfielder, we might even sign 2. I feel like I'd still like to see a centre-back coming in that's dominant in the air. And I'd like to see a striker coming in. Now, I say striker, I've been saying attacker all summer. But I think it's because I'm very sure I want to see BOWEN move back to his best position and remain in his best position. But we do have a lack of wingers / attacking midfielders at present. You know, when we're discussing what we'd like to see in the future games and we're discussing switching to a 4-3-3 or a 4-2-3-1, whatever, but your formation includes wingers if you're that way inclined. Obviously, Bowen's on the right, but who's on the left? We don't really have anyone. Diouf, maybe, sure. Paqueta arguably played his best football there under David Moyes, but it was a completely different style of play, and that was a bit of a 4-2-3-1 rather than a 4-3-3. The striker ahead of him was a completely different type of striker compared to what Füllkrug is. Guilherme's out injured. Somerville will be back soon. I think I do worry we're all placing, and we have to because we've got no other option right now. We are all placing a lot of hope and expectation and pressure on Somerville that when you come back, we need you. Right, you have to hit the ground running. You could be the answer here. It's a lot of pressure for someone that's been out for, what, Potter joined in January for 7 months now. Somerville's been out for. That's a serious time away from the game. But I feel like we're getting desperate. So I feel like we still need 2 midfielders, a centre-back, and then I'll say attacker, right? Whether it be a winger or a striker, I can make arguments for either or. Arguably both, but we ain't getting 2. I'm not even sure we're going to get 4 more signings. And that's what worries me. So when the window shuts, is the squad going to be ready for the upcoming campaign? Hopefully. I'm a bit concerned at this point though, but the main thing is getting these midfielders in, and I don't feel like we're any closer. So we just got pumped by Sunderland. The final whistle went. Brady went on TalkSport Sunday morning, laughed at the thought that people don't know that we need pace in midfield. And, 5 days later, we're no closer to signing a midfielder in terms of negotiations. Someone said, well, of course we're closer. It's a day closer. Technically correct. We're a day closer to being relegated. We're a day closer to winning the FA Cup. That subscriber, I like the cut of his jib, actually. He's not wrong there. Technically, everything's correct. We're all a day closer to dying than we were yesterday, right? So technically correct. But are we closer in terms of negotiations into buying a midfielder? At this point, it doesn't really feel like it. Now, hopefully there's stuff going on behind the scenes that we don't know about, but bear in mind we know about pretty much everything else. Don't know, it's hard to get excited. It's a bit frustrating at the minute. And Alvarez leaving before us. I think had we signed, let's just say we signed Fernandes or Macau of Lille, or we made a good midfielder signing and then we loaned Alvarez out, I think it would be easier to stomach. I think we go, okay, right, not ideal, but we've brought someone in. He's gone out. We're going to bring someone else in now. Okay, I see what we're doing. But we haven't. So I feel like the pressure on us to sign a midfielder was already high. I think the pressure on us to sign 2 midfielders now is that high. I think the club have just made it a little bit more difficult for themselves. Maybe they've made it easier because of the money, because of the wages being off the books. Time will tell. 11 days will tell us. But anyway, Alvarez to Fenerbahçe. It's done. He's on his way for his medical now, so obviously he won't be playing against Chelsea tomorrow night. That's one less player in a squad that looked a little bit light already when we took on Sunderland. Not going to get any bigger. There's no new additions. Well, Callum Marshall's available after suspension, so there is an extra player that we can have, an extra attacker, because we certainly need those at the moment, don't we? Anyway, apologies, it's not that upbeat. I feel like it should be the day before the game. I feel like I should be getting excited. I should be getting up for it, but I'd be lying if I said I was there at that point just now. I guess it's waiting, see. There's not much else we can do. But I won't apologise for feeling a little bit concerned whilst I wait and see. Anyway, I'm off. I think I'm way to change the title and thumbnail of the video I did earlier. I put it up with a Chelsea fan. A lot of criticism. I didn't think it was that bad a title. It just said Chelsea fans don't fear West Ham under David Moyes anymore. And I thought, what he said, well, that's what the Chelsea fan said. But, under Moyes, our last 3 home games, we won 2 and drew 1. I've always felt, when we go to play Chelsea at home under Moyes, I always felt like we had a good chance of winning it. Well, we won 2, drew 1 out of 3. But there's, been a lot of slagging off of myself and Alex and the Chelsea fans. So I think I might go change the title and thumbnail. It's not gone down too well. Listening to feedback, I guess, but I thought it was an alright video. Anyway, what do you know? Me? Nothing, clearly. Right, I'm off. Thank you very much for joining me. If you've enjoyed the video, please do drop a like on it by clicking thumbs up, subscribing to Hammer's Chat. And you fancy a bit of that 18-1, just to go through it again. It's Cole Palmer to have at least 2 shots on target. Jared Bowen to have at least 1 shot on target, at least 2 goals in the game, Max Kilman to get booked 18-1 with Boyle Sports. The link is in the description below, but make sure you do use that link, and I'll catch up with you tomorrow.